The chicken restaurant game isn't easy, even if you're a country music legend. From a once beloved Southern chain that failed to modernize, to the gambler being accused of stealing recipes, these chicken chains went bust for a reason. In 1961, a little fast food joint with a sign featuring a covered wagon came onto the scene in Los Angeles. It was called Pioneer Chicken, and the locals ate it up, literally. By the end of the 1970s, several hundred of its restaurant locations had sprung up across California.
Pioneer strips are so good, I just gotta shout it. Great chicken, no bones about it.
Known for its bright orange deep-fried cutlets, the chicken chain was popular among adults and children alike. Grown-ups looked forward to biting into a crunchy thigh, while their kids couldn't wait to munch on tenders and flip through pictures of Pioneer Pete, the company mascot, in the comic book that came with the meal. But despite these clever marketing endeavors, the company could not cope with competition from its looming fried chicken rival, KFC. By 1991, Pioneer was on its second declaration of bankruptcy, and in '93, the owner of Popeye's Chicken and Biscuits acquired the failing franchise. All but 2 locations became Popeye's restaurants. Beginning as a single cafeteria-style restaurant in Mobile, Alabama, Morrison's Cafe got its start in 1920, offering Southern-style cooking, including lots of fried chicken. Its comfort food and business models were popular with consumers. It quickly grew into a chain, and when shopping malls became more commonplace after World War II, Morrison's Cafeteria developed even further, planting locations directly in malls along the southeastern United States. In its prime, Morrison's operated over 150 locations. But the years went on, and diners' preferences started shifting. The popularity of weighted dine-in restaurants was on the rise, while self-serve cafeteria-style restaurants were on a downward trend. The franchise struggled increasingly as consumer traffic slowed down, with eaters beginning to consider its concept archaic. Finally, in 1996, Morrison's Cafeteria sold all of its locations to Piccadilly Inc. for $46 million. Now, only a single Morrison's Cafeteria lives on in Mobile, Alabama. In Hartsville, South Carolina, there's a restaurant with a feel-good sign featuring a smiling Yogi Bear holding a chicken leg. This solo chicken shack, Yogi Bear Honey Fried Chicken, used to be a chain of 6 locations in the Carolinas in the 1960s. Its chicken sandwiches, legs, thighs, and gizzards were cooked using a unique honey-flavored chicken tenderizer, which was apparently so good it quickly became sought after by a much larger company. Hardee's, showing immense interest in the honey method, bought the rights to the recipe and the restaurants for $1 million. However, it is reported that despite their initial engrossment, Yogi's was neglected by its new owners. Left to the wayside, the poor chain rapidly began to decline. By the late 1970s, all of them were closed, except for one solitary showstopper, the Hartsville Yogi Bear Honey Fried Chicken. The success of KFC in the mid-1900s was both inspiring and enticing for many at the time, including brothers John J. Hooker and Henry Hooker. The two convinced Minnie Pearl, a country singer whose career was on fire in the late 1960s, to supply them with her name for their developing fried chicken chain. The plan, of course, was for their own business's success to rival that of Kentucky Fried Chicken. That said, Minnie Pearl's chicken locations began opening for business in 1968.
Most folks say Minnie Pearl's chicken is the best going, but you'll never know till you try it.
The problem? The focal point was the idea, as opposed to the actual chicken itself. The Hooker brothers, who had poured most of their energy into marketing and franchising, could not deliver an actual good-tasting product. Despite developing unique-looking buildings and a sign you could see from a mile away, consumers simply did not care for the food. Therefore, Minnie Pearl's chicken couldn't deliver on its profits, and the chain's very short life was over with the closing of its final location in 1973. As its name suggests, Sister's Chicken and Biscuits was a fast food chain local to Columbus, Ohio that promised crispy fried chicken and warm, buttery biscuits. While the fried chicken was delicious, it was the delectable baked biscuits that stole the show. Owned by the Wendy's Company, Sisters opened as a subsidiary to the larger chain in 1980 and grew to a size of nearly 80 locations by 1985. Despite further growth in 1986, Wendy's abruptly sold Sisters Chicken and Biscuits in 1987. By the mid-1990s, all of its locations were closed. However, the chain's quintessential buildings still stand in the Columbus area. It's a testament to the flaky biscuits and breaded chicken that once cooked in their kitchens and sent hypnotizing smells wafting out the windows, inviting hungry people to come in and feast. In 1996, a popular episode of Seinfeld aired in which a restaurant with an unusually large chicken sign started causing some major problems.
Stay away from the chicken! No! No, chicken! Mess you up!
This restaurant was Kenny Rogers Roasters, a real-life chicken chain founded by the country music singer himself in the 90s. Its star dish was a wood-fired chicken, and before long, the company had 350 locations, both in the United States and worldwide. Unfortunately, trouble followed its rapid success. Kenny Rogers Roasters was sued by Clucker's Wood Roasted Chicken, who accused the chain of stealing its menus and recipes. Roasters also found itself in fierce competition with KFC and Boston Chicken, which has been rebranded and is now known as Boston Market. These combined complications led the popular chain to fizzle. In 1998, Kenny Rogers Roasters filed for bankruptcy. Nowadays, there are 0 Kenny Rogers Roasters locations left in the U.S. But if you really have a hankering, you could fly to Malaysia, Thailand, or a handful of other countries where it is still actively roasting and serving chickens.